Hello everybody, this is Bonita, design team member for JNS Hobbies and Crafts, and we're here to start on our big album for our circus theme. So again, we've already created our album cover. You've created your binding strips. I'm going to talk a little bit about that towards the end of this tutorial. And you've created the waterfall base and all that stuff. So we're going to go ahead and make the pages, and hopefully this tutorial will take care of the whole book. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, we're going to start with page 1, and page 1 has all of our base pages are 6.5 by 8.5, and so you will need 8. We have this book has 8 pages, so you'll need 8 of those. So the first one has a flap on the right hand side, and that flap is 6 3/4 by 8.5, and you will score at 6 6 1/8, which that gives you that 1/8 inch gusset. Okay, so again, we've already trimmed our corners off. I'm going to kind of set this over here, and we're going to get our glue, and we're going to go ahead and glue this down. So you're going to scribble our glue on there. This is kind of funny because it looks so much bigger after working on those micro minis. Okay, so again, this goes on the right side. It goes right up to the edge there. I hope you guys enjoyed my videos. You know, I do this just for fun. I have a real job. Been in the banking business for 35 years, a long time. My son's lifetime, as a matter of fact. And so this is just one of the things I do, and I love to share. I love to share my ideas, and so I hope you enjoy. Okay, so now that is page 1, and I know it's hard to see. There we go, right there. So let's open that up, and we're going to be working on the base page. This has a 2 pockets, diagonal pockets that are going to go like this on the base page. So when you put this one down, make sure that we come about a 1/16 of an inch away from where those two, where this the score line is, just a hair. So again, we're going to do, we're just going to glue that bottom part down, and I am going to tell you about something I totally forgot. So again, I'm about a 1/16 of an inch away from the score here. Let's burnish that down. So this, I will have the measurements on the screen. I can't remember what size square this is, and I don't have my documentation with me right now, but I will have whatever size square this was that we cut in half. I used a decorative punch that is a 1/2 inch deep, so you can use any decorative punch that's a 1/2 inch deep. Again, I used this one, and I believe you can get this one at JNS Hobbies and Crafts. I believe that's where I got it. So again, I love 1/2 inch deep punches, and you can use any one in this album. There's many to choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. I'm going to show you something else about this in just a second. Grab my acetate, tuck it down in there, and give it a good burnish. So this, we took our square, we cut it in half, we deco punched the edges, we scored 1/2 inch on the 2 sides, we trimmed off that corner, and then on the diagonal corners, again, I just snipped with my scissors straight across right there, instead of having a pointy end out there. Hope that made sense. Okay, we're just going to glue one side down. Make sure you get those corners. That's what's really important when you're gluing. And I'm going to glue, make sure that's even at the top. Burnish that down. I know the black on black is hard to see, but you know, I did an album with white paper, and it's white on white is just as bad. So I know it's tough, and I'll do my best to help you guys be successful. Okay, so just burnish that down. Let me get my pin on here. Okay, so there we go. We've got the corner here and corner. This is our base page. Our flap is on the right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and decorate. So the base page is going to take a 6 1/4 by 8 1/4 inch paper. And this one's going to be a little tricky to stick in because you're going to have to kind of maneuver it down. And I'm just going to do it without gluing it first to show you. Well, maybe we'll show you. Excuse me, it got stuck on there. So it's going to be a little bit tough to maneuver down, but that's how it's going to go. So you're going to have to glue it and be tricky. Again, you can choose this side. I chose the other side, but this paper, a lot of the ones you will be able to choose what you want if you, and gosh, don't think I'm going to feel bad if you choose the other side. So we're going to glue this all over. I'm going to put this one in here on this side first, down in there. You're going to get glue on your fingers, so and just bend it and get it in there. And then once you have it in there, look at all that glue I have on my fingers. Just get that in a good place and burnish it down. This is one of the, I do many things. I'm a quilter as well, and I teach quilting, but I love crafts and I love to share. So again, hopefully you'll have fun. Okay, in the inside here, we're going to do 2 photo mats. So you know, when I make my albums, I love to give the people the options of where to put their photos. Of course, we always have pockets, we have photo mats, and then we have base pages that have Deco paper. And so tell your people, cover up your photo mats, put things in your pockets, and then cover up your decorative paper if you still need place for photos. That way you get to enjoy your beautiful, fun paper as long as you can be. So these are 2 photo mats, and they're 5 3/4 by 4 inches, and they're going to fit right in there, right together. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just glue. And I know I mention this every video I do. The art glitter glue is a must-have in your album making world. It is the best glue by far, and it's really great. Okay. Let's do this one. I'm so excited about this, you guys. Once we get this put together and you have your 2 micro minis together and I do my reveal to all of you at the end, it'll show you how we decorate. We have lots of chipboard, lots of stickers that we're going to be able to use. It's just going to be so fun. Okay, now this is our corner pieces that are going to go on here. And this was a square, and again, I don't have the measurements right here in front of me, but they will be on the screen to remind you what size these were. We made a square, and we just cut it in half. And then they are going to go on each of these corners. I also mentioned, if you can think of, you know, I have my Bonita's Basic that walks you through covering an album, building your binding system, the U system that I use. And I did not create that system. There's a lot of people that use the use system, but I like that. I also have an album, How to Make the Waterfall, because all the waterfalls are basically the same. They just may be different sizes in paper. Okay. Okay, get that all burnished down. Okay, and then we have the top of our album that we're going to cover, and that paper is 5 3/4 by 8 1/4. It's kind of nice when you have all the papers cut out, because to me it takes me a long time to figure it out, but when I'm going to build it for you and I have all that cut, it's actually pretty nice. So this is the one, again, we'll have some decoration on here, but again, this would be one of the last pages I'd want to put decorative paper on so you can enjoy that circus theme. Okay, so I'm just going to put this on here while okay, so we've done with page 1. Now, turn page 1 over, and then on the right, I want you to put tape, because this is how that page is going to go in there. Again, here's our paper, here's our flap. The flap is on the right. Close it up, turn it over, tape right here on the right. Okay, that is page 1. Let's put 1 and an arrow. Moving right along. Page 2 and 3, I'm actually going to make together at the same time, or yes. So 2 and 3 actually go together in your, they don't attach to each other, but they're going to mirror each other. And so on 2 and 3, we are going to use 2 diagonal pockets. Okay, so to make the diagonal pockets, you're going to cut a 7.5 inch square. You're going to cut it on the diagonal. You are going to decorative punch if you want. You'll score your 1/2 inch on the 2 sides, and you'll trim off that corner. Again, our base pages are the same exact size. They're 6.5 by 8.5. So those are always the same, and you want to go ahead and cut 8 of those and be ready. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue down our pockets. And we're going to go all the way over to the left edge on this one, on page 2. Get your bone folder. And I'm going to glue this one. Whoops. Sorry, I got out of frame there a little bit. Sorry, you guys. I got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay, I'm going to take my acetate. You know, there's many different ways. There's many different people that make albums. Nobody's right or wrong. They all have their own style. I encourage you to always look for different people. It's, you know, there's a lot of fun people out there that make albums. It's really popular right now. There's lots of different paper to choose from. You know, you can get a lot of it from Jana's Hobbies and Crafts. Okay, I'm putting, this is the page 3, and I'm going to go ahead and build the same pocket. I'm going to glue down the second piece. I always like to glue my one pocket first side, and then the other ones. Use my acetate before I just do that down. This just keeps the pockets from getting glued together. Burnish that down good. Again, remember, I think when you burnish your paper down with your glue, it actually adheres better. Okay, so now we have 2 opposite pages. Isn't that cool? Let me scan out here just a little bit here. There we go, you guys. So there we have 2 opposite pages. Okay, so this is really easy. So again, our pages that go in on the base page is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. Again, it's double-sided. You could choose to do some stripes if you wanted. It kind of reminds me of the awnings. But I'm going to do this. I hope you guys enjoy my cutting guides. You know, I did that on purpose so that you could take this paper that I'm using and use it to the same capacity as I am. That doesn't mean that you can't take other paper and do the same measurements and, you know, make your own album. But if you're using this paper, which is super cute, gotta have it, then you have that same opportunity to make the exact same paper as I do. Okay, again, we're gonna go on this one as 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. And I cut all my paper apart. Then I put it back together in a puzzle, like a puzzle, and give you all the measurements. I think that's one of my trademarks. I don't, maybe other people do that. I just can't cut on the fly. And you know, I've watched people struggle trying to cut on the fly when you're trying to follow a tutorial and what to cut. And I just can't do that. You know, I have got glue everywhere. Isn't that cool, you guys? Woo! Okay, so this piece of paper was just, again, it was a square that was a 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 inch square that we just cut down the diagonal. Now, make sure when you cut it, when you make that square, this word circus, make sure it's up here in the left-hand corner, and then cut your diagonal like that. That way, when you put them on here, they'll kind of be in the right direction. And if you don't, it's no big deal. You can also use the red diamond. And then this is just going to go right like that. We're going to burnish that down. See how that glue spews out? I finally had to wash my bone folder, you guys. It was so disgusting. And so I soaked it in hot soapy water. Okay. And I'm going to put that one on there. This has been one of the most funnest, is that a word? Most fun albums to work on. And I can't wait to show you my decorative skills when we do the final reveal. Okay, so now this is page 2. Page 2, the pocket is on the left. You're going to turn that over and you're going to put your tape all the way around the edges and one down the middle. Page 2. Page 2, arrow up. Page 1 and 2 stack together like this. This is page 1, page 2. You know what? Let's actually paper clip that. Okay, now this is page 3. Pocket is on the right. Turn it over. Put your score tape right down there. Okay, moving along to page 4. Now page 4 is a double stack pocket, and I absolutely love the double stack pockets. So we have 2, I'm going to get my paper out of the way here, 2 pieces for our pockets, and this is really important that you follow this information. Whoops, let me get this on here first before I go into this. Okay, so this pocket, which I kindly did not write my size on here, that was really kind of me, is 7.5 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches long, or tall. 7.5 by 3 3/4. You're going to score 1/2 inch all the way around, deco punch the top, punch out your corners. That's going to be your bottom pocket. The next pocket, again, is also 7.5 inches wide, and it is 3.5 inches tall. You're going to score 1/2 inch all the way around, deco punch, and you're only going to turn under the 2 sides. Do not turn under this one. So you're going to turn under the sides, and you're going to get a good score, get a good score there. And then you are going to open it up, and you are going to cut across to the score line and then do a diagonal cut. So you have that notch. Okay? That's really important to do that notch. So you cut over to the score line and then you notch that down. And you do not fold. Do not fold on that score line. You see I don't have any, you can just see the indentation there. Okay? So let's build this. So we're going to take our bottom pocket and we're going to put that on first onto my base. Okay, and I am getting glue everywhere today. I think I get glue everywhere every time I do it, I guess, under pressure. Okay, so the bottom pocket goes down. Give it a good burnish. We're going to do our side pieces. I'd love for people to comment below and tell me, like, what do you guys work outside the home? What do you do? I'm a banker. I work at a bank, and I've been there a long time. And I have a pretty busy job, so this is one of my fun things that I do to keep me sane, as I said to my husband. I'm going to put my acetate in there. Give that a good burnish. I hope you guys have tried to use the acetate. It really works really well. Okay. Now, here is my other pocket. We are going to, with this one, this gets inserted into your pocket, and you're going to insert it, and it's going to fit in there perfectly, and you're going to scoot it down until that score line just is touching the top of that. And you're not going to glue down the bottom. You're only going to glue on the sides. That's it. Only on the sides. Okay, so I'm going to glue this. Close that down, and I'm just going to, again, I'm going to insert it, and I know it's going to be hard to see, and I'll show it back to you in a minute. I'm going to insert it down. And when you make those notches like that, it just fits. Okay, again, now the cool thing is, guess what? This pocket is as deep as this. So take your acetate and burnish it down. That is so cool. So you don't have all the bulk of the paper down here. Okay, so now let's go ahead and decorate this. Now you have 3 pieces, and they are 3 different sizes, so it's important that you pay attention. And the paper I had you cut, actually, let me see here. Yep, see, I had that backwards. was 1 piece, and I've cut it into 3 pieces. So the top is 6 1/4 by 2 3/4. The middle piece is 6 1/4 by 3 1/4. And the bottom is 6 1/4 by 2 1/2. So again, that's important that you have those in the right place. So I'm going to go ahead and start at the bottom. Whoops. Oh my gosh, it's a good thing that did not fall on the other way. And that just goes right down here. Burnish that down. Our middle piece. So the cutting instructions for each of these albums and each of the things I do are in the comments below as well. I try to put them on the screen, and I try to tell you all. So I try to give you like a lot of different options, and hopefully that works for you. If I ever make errors, I'm 100% sorry. Again, I do the best that I can, but I'm hoping that this works well. Okay, and then we're going to put our top piece on. This reminds me of Cracker Jacks. So much it reminds me of Cracker Jacks. Okay. I remember going to a circus. This looks like a circus. The colors and the texture and feel, the thought, it just looks like the circus that I went to when I was younger. Okay, so let me get the lid back on my glue. Okay. Wow, that is so cool. So now this is page, what page? Okay, wait a minute. This is page 3. Now, gosh, you guys have to remind me. 3. This is page 4. So we're going to turn page 4 over, and I write the number and an arrow. So when you put them in your albums, you don't put them in upside down. Score tape all around. So if you've got this figured out, the odd numbers have score tape on this side, and the even numbers have score tape all the way around. Okay, so again, I have page 3, page 4. I'm just going to go ahead and put a paper clip on those together. Now page 5 has a lot going on. A lot. Don't panic. Has a lot going on. So let me just take all this lovely stuff and set it aside. We have our base page, which again is 6 1/2 by 8 1/2. We have a top flap that's 6 1/2 by 6 3/4. It is scored at 6 and 6 1/8, so you have that 1/8 inch gusset, and I deco punch the bottom. I have a bottom flap that is 6 1/2 by 5 1/4. We score at 4 1/2 and 4 5/8, which gives you that 1/8 inch gusset. I have 2 side flaps. I have one that's going to go up in the top left, and then one that's going to go in the bottom right. And they are both exactly the same size. They're 7 1/4 by 4 1/2. They're scored at 6 1/2 and 6 5/8, which gives you that, again, that gusset. So let's go ahead and build this. So we're first going to put our flaps on, and I'm going to take my flap that's going to go onto the top left. And first of all, I'm going to snip off a little bit of my corners here. Okay. We are not using any magnets in this album. Can you believe that? No magnets. This page has a lot going on, but it still stays in place when you get done. So this one is going to go all the way to the top. I'm going to glue that down. You're going to give that a good burnish. This one goes in the bottom right. They are going to overlap when they close, so don't panic like, oh my gosh, I cut something wrong, because you didn't. This is going to go down the bottom right. Again, I always try to finger press my pieces down. I've got glue all over my hands. And I did not get that on there very straight. That's the beauty about this glitter glue. You have I don't know, maybe 30 seconds before you're locked into that. So this would actually close, and you'll see that they overlap just a hair, like a quarter of an inch. Okay, now we are going to open them up, leave them open, and we're going to go ahead and put the top flap on. And I've already trimmed my corners, and the top flap is just going to go on right over top of that. Okay, and this is going to go right to the top, right over our little flap that you've already put on there, right over the stuff that you already glued down. Okay, I'm going to close this one and close this one so I can come down here and work on the bottom. So here's my bottom flap. I've already snipped my edges. Now, if you have a better way that you adhere your pieces on, feel free to do that. I just try to find a good, easy way for me, and this is what works. And this is going to, excuse me, for me to put this on the bottom, I have to turn this because I cannot do it at that angle. And this is going to go over, and again, it's going to go right over. You've already put this flap down, so it's going to go right over that piece that you put there. And you are just going to burnish that down really good. Again, no magnets. This will stay closed by itself. I already have this in another album. So those will close, this will close, and this will close. Now, again, I'm not using any magnets. You sure can if you want. You could put a magnet right on this bottom flap and top flap. You don't need to, because this top flap is down long enough that it kind of keeps it all in place. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this page decorated. So let's open it all the way up. And in the base of this, we are not going to cover it with decorative paper. You could if you want to wait until the very end if you don't want to do it. But again, remember, I like to give you photo layouts. So I have 4 photo mats that I'm going to put on here. I'm going to lay them out to show you how we're going to put them. So these, the bigger ones are 3 by 4, and these are 3 by 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them in my book like this. And then when you see it decorated at the end, guess what? I'm going to have decorative paper right here. So I'm going to use my scraps and fill this in. Okay? But for right now, we're going to leave it in a black spot, and then you can choose your own decorative paper at the very end and come back and use some of your scraps. Okay, so I'm just going to press that down. Again, I really like giving them the photo mats. Again, I give my albums away for gifts. And, you know, actually, you know what I might do? I think I'm going to make them meet in the middle. And I'm going to have my decorative paper up here. So you can choose whatever you want. I make a lot of albums for my coworkers that have babies or get married. And when I first would give them away, like they didn't want to put any photos in it because they didn't want to cover the decorative paper. I'm like, no, you can't do that. So it freaked them out. And so I started putting some photo mats in, and that actually made them those people feel a little bit better. I think also a really good tip for you guys when you're giving your albums is to also give a package of the black photo corners. so that when they're going to put your photos in, even on your photo mats, they can use those decorative, or excuse me, not the decorative corners, but those photo mat corners, and it will kind of help them put it on so they don't have to adhere like the whole picture down. Okay, now also on our flaps is going to be photo mats, and these photo mats are 6 1/4 by 4 1/4, which will take a perfect 4 by 6 photo. We're just going to put those down. This video will probably be about an hour, you guys. I want to make this whole album for you in this video, and so I know I like to keep them about an hour. It might be just a tad bit longer than that, but I really want to do this in one setting. Okay. I'm going to scoot this over here. I've got so much stuff on my table tonight. And do you guys stand up when you craft? I often do, and I'm doing that actually right now. My mom and I, when we craft together, we'll get crafting, and then it'll be like a half hour goes by and we haven't even spoke because we're so concentrating what we're doing, but a lot of times we stand up. Gotta get that out of the way. Okay, we also have a photo mat down here. So this layout has 3 4 by 6 photo mats on it. So this is a great page. And again, this train set, you guys, what a great baby shower gift. A children's birthday party that you can use it for, and then use the photos. I have a Canon selfie. You can print your photos right away, or you can go down to Walmart or Walgreens and get them printed out, and you get them in here, and it'll could represent a really fun time. The train can go set in the kids' room. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can do with it. Again, I want to do a Halloween one, and I'm hoping to do one at Halloween, so that'll be fun. Okay, so again, when you get done and we are all done, and I'm showing the reveal of all the products together with how I decorated it, these will be covered with decorative paper. Okay, so let's close this up, and I am going to get the paper for this bottom piece right here, which is this piece right here. Not wild, oh, psychedelic. This is 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. Again, you could sure use that piece because that's pretty cool. This is the, in fact, I don't know. That's a tough one, you guys, because it would be like that. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I actually think I changed my mind. I think I changed my mind. I think I want to do that. I really do, and I'm going to. So what do you think about that? But when I change my mind, guess what happens? It's not inked, which this one doesn't have to be inked a lot because it is super dark and you won't even be able to tell. So I just want to get a little bit where it's white. Again, I had originally made the decision to do this, which is super wild. Man, I don't know, you guys. You know what? I'm going to stick with that. Let's just go back to my plan, stick with that, because that is really cool. I cut this paper specifically in the middle for you guys. So let's just stick with that. Okay. So, whoo, sorry about that. That was a squirrel moment. That's what happens when you get this decorative paper. It is like so cool. The other side, this paper right here, this side of it is this whole sheet that we have, one sheet left that you're going to cut completely up and use into photo mats. So you will be able to have that. Okay, so let's just burnish that down. Let's go ahead and put the top one on, and this is 6 1/4 by 5 1/4. And this paper is, Cartabella is a little heavier, you guys. It is pretty heavy paper. I don't know the weight of it, but it is pretty heavy. Okay. Now, this is going to have a pocket on the top flap. Inside top flap has a pocket. So when you lay this pocket down, you need to be about a 1/16 of an inch 1/16 of an inch away from that first score line because you do not want that to interfere. So let's go ahead and glue that down. And again, I'm about 1/16 of an inch away. And I just do that first one, and then I'm going to glue. One thing I really like about this art glitter glue is it adheres quickly. And that is what I really like about it. I mean, you have about 30 seconds, I don't know, you probably have about 10 seconds to pull it away, but it adheres right away well, so you can maneuver around. Okay, so here's my acetate, burnish, burnish. Okay, so here is the inside for this. This is Circus Gallop. It is 6 1/4 by 3 3/4. Look at that. Wow. It's tough when you're trying to decide which paper to use, you guys. It is just so cool. That's going to get tucked right down in that pocket. Did I get my hair in there, you guys? Sorry if I did. Okay. Here is my strip for my pocket. It is 6 1/4 by 1 3/4. I love all the different papers. It's just so much fun to use different companies and use different paper. Okay, so now what I have left is my outside of my flaps, and they're both exactly the same, and they're 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. So this again has been a fun project. I wanted to give you the 2 micro minis to fit in the train, but I also wanted to give you, another album. It's not as big as I normally make, but, and I probably could have added 2 more pages, but I wanted to stick with just this size this time. It still has a lot of stuff going on in it. Don't worry about not having all the bells and whistles that my albums have, because it has them. Make sure I've closed this one right and not like okay, let me put the lid on my glue. That's important to me. I don't know if everybody leaves their glue open the whole time. I don't. Obviously, if you followed me, you'd know that. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we have this full spread layout, and I know it won't even fit all in my camera view. And we're going to close the side flaps, the bottom, top, and then this, and then the top goes down. And because this top is long, it actually holds it in place. Okay, so this was page 5. So we're just going to turn it over, and on the right side, we're going to put our tape. This is 5 with an arrow. Okay, now page 6 and 7, again, are like the 2 and 3. They're going to mirror each other. So we are going to kind of build them at the same time. And let me get my stuff out of the way because it's important that I build this all right. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do with each of these is there's a pocket, and the pockets are going to go to the outside. Okay, so this is page 7, and it's going to go to the right. Page 6 is going to go to the left. Okay, that's really important because here's why. This is one of my cool signature spreads, I guess is what I would call it, but these are going to be the papers that go in it. They were cut apart. Okay, so let's first put our pockets on. So this pockets, they were 4 inches by 9 1/2. We deco punched, if you so choose. We scored 1/2 inch all the way around, and then we cut our corners off. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our glue on. So this is what happens when it kind of gets clogged a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to turn my paper just slightly because this is it's hard for me to put my pocket on at that angle. So this goes all the way to the edge. Burnish that down. I'm going to do our sides. Okay, I'm going to grab my acetate. Okay, let's do the same on this side. And remember, this pocket goes to the right. You don't want to put a ton of glue on, you guys, because when you put a ton of glue on, it makes your paper, it could make it wobbly, warped a little bit. So don't put a ton, but you need to make sure you get enough on there to cover it. Burnish it. Open it. Burnish it down. Glue. Okay. And we're going to use our acetate, put that down. Okay, so we have two opposite. Okay. Now there's a flap on each that goes on top of those pockets. Okay, and that flap is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2. Okay, and you're going to score it at 2 3/4. So it's 3 1/4 inches wide, and you're going to score it 2 3/4. So you're going to do 2 of those, 1 for each one, and we're going to trim off our sides. And I'm like, where's my other one? I like to make matching pages that open the same. Now this is going to go right on top of our pocket. My dog is chomping at the bit to go outside, and my husband is sleeping, so he's going to have to wait. So hopefully he can. Okay, so this goes right on top of my pocket. And we're just going to burnish that down. Okay, so as you can see, I have a very narrow pocket on, flap on top of that pocket. And that goes on this side. So on this one, we're going to do the same thing. And it goes on this side, on top of that pocket. Let me just put this pin in there. You notice I'm wearing my sparkly bracelet. Okay. Now, we have 2 matching pages. So let's go ahead and decorate. So we're going to decorate 6 first. So this piece just scoots right in here to the pocket, underneath that pocket. So this is 3 1/2, I believe. 3 1/2 by 8 1/4. And that just scoots right in there. Another good burnish. Then the pocket that goes right in here is 2 3/4 by 8 1/4, and it just is going to set right on there. Okay. And then what goes on top of this is that. Isn't that cool? And this is 2.5 by 8.25. Kind of gives that, you know, in a lot of my bigger albums, I give you that really big kind of lots of flip-flap spreads. So this is kind of emulates that a little bit. Okay, cool. Look at that. That's so cool. Now open up that flap, and in this flap is going to be 2 photo mats. And these photo mats are 2.5 by 3.5. And again, you're going to have a blank space right here when we get done. And when you, at the end, when you're all done with, and you've used, you know, all the big pieces you wanted, go use one of your scraps, and you'll put a piece of scrap to fill that in. Again, I would wait until you're completely done so you don't accidentally use something that you're supposed to use somewhere else. And that's kind of what I do. And there's some pieces that are little that I just wait until we're all done. Okay, and it'll be about 2.5. It'll be 2.5 by probably about 1 inch. I'm going to write that on there, 2.5 by 1 inch. Okay, so that is page 6. And because that's an even page, we're going to put the score tape all the way around and one down the middle. So we're going to attach that to page 5 with a paper clip, just so we know. Then I'm going to go ahead and finish page 7. And again, this is 3.5 by 8.5, goes underneath that pocket. And we have, we're going to cover our pocket with 2 3/4 by 8.25. I always like to start with a fresh full bottle of glue because it's easier for me to squeeze. And this just goes in the middle. Kind of got whacked there for a minute. Sorry about that. It's a good thing this glue dries clear because sometimes I'm not focusing. This is 2.5 by 8.25. Just scribble your glue. And this goes right on here. Burnish it down. Oops, I should have got that over just a tad. Okay, then we have our 2 photo mats that go on here. 2.5 by 3.5. Whoops, shoot. I should have pressed that with my finger first. It wasn't all the way here to there. Oh man. Now it's kind of crooked. Well, it is staying kind of crooked. Put that one down here. That's good to kind of push it with your fingers first before you do your burnish it with your bone folder because it's loose yet. Okay, so this is going to be about 2.5 by 1 inch. And you'll fill that in with scrap paper when you're all done. Okay, so that is page 7. Because that is an odd page, you turn the page over, score tape right down there. On to the last page. Okay, so this is page 8. And this has a pocket, and the pocket is going to go on the right side. And excuse me, this is 3 1/4 by 9 1/2. Score on 3 sides. Deco punch. Notch out your corners. I hope you guys, as you go, you pause your video, you know, when you're prepping your pieces, you know, so, you know, because I already have all my pieces all prepped and ready. And you might, once you understand the pockets in that system, you might have them all ready to go as I have you cut them out. Okay. Whoop, did I get my hair in there? My gosh, sorry, you guys. Okay. Burnish that down. Burnish that down. We are definitely going to be an hour and a half, you guys. Then this is going to go underneath that pocket. It's 4 1/2 by 8 1/4. I'm going to, so you guys, you know, you can always pause this video and then come back to it the next day or later on in the day if you need to have lunch or dinner, take care of your kids, do the laundry, that kind of thing. But I want to do this all in one fell swoop. So that is just going to go down like that. And then to cover my pocket, we have 2 by 8 1/4. And we're going to do that. Okay, so that is page 8. So because it's an even page, we have all the score tape all the way around. Okay, that's all of our pages. Let's move on to our waterfall. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to actually end this video for part 1, and then I'm going to come back and finish up in part 2, only because I need to let my dog out and I can't pause my video. So this is part 1. We have completed all 8 pages. Come back and join me, and we will we'll get our waterfall, our back envelope closure, and the front of our album covered. So we'll see you really soon.